Hi, my name's Kirk Fieseler, and have Laporte Avenue Nursery here in Fort Collins, and I've been making some videos on grafting, and mainly grafting conifers. And the previous videos, I was showing people how I do the grafts with the root system and the scion at the top. And so today's little video, I want to talk about the last how do I say, procedure that I use for my grafts. And the last thing to do after you have done the graft and waited 6 months, most of these all were done in January or December of last year. So it's been 6 months for these plants to root, or to bond to the rootstock and become plants on their own. So what I'm dealing with right here are all Austrian pine rootstocks and different cultivars of two-needle pines that you can graft on to Austrian pine rootstock. Austrian pine's a pretty good rootstock, seems to tolerate a lot of different soils, can take over watering, and it's a pretty good rootstock for most all two-needle pines. So what I've got here is I've got a ponderosa pine called Marguerite on this one that I'm going to show you how to take off the rootstock. I've got a Schmidtii. This is Leucodermis, which is a Bosnian pine that is on Austrian, and you can sort of see the rubber band still on there that I put on there earlier this year to tie the two together. This is another ponderosa pine. I think this is we call this Phantom Canyon. It's a selection that some friends of mine found just north of Fort Collins. This is Alban. This is a Scotch pine, fairly common in the trade. It's a Scotch pine that crawls along the ground, again on Austrian rootstock. And this is a densiflora, which is Japanese. I think it's Japanese pine. I don't think it's white pine. It's densiflora is the species name, and again, it's on a Austrian pine rootstock. So, what's happened, in the 6 months when these were first grafted, is the rootstock has been pruned back somewhat. So what I'm trying to do here with the rootstock and the new thing, the sign material that I put on there, is I'm trying to wean the root system here off of this plant, which is the rootstock top, and make a new plant by taking off the top here, and then this is the sign material or the graft that I want to take over the rootstock. So basically I've got two different genomes, or two different types of genetics. I've got the root system here from the seedling Austrian pine, and then I got the top, which has some characteristics that I like, or people like, here, and it's using the root system of the seedling to support the new cultivar, which this one's called Marguerite. It's a type of ponderosa pine that's got some characteristics that we find are very ornamental. Okay, so let's just put some of these down. This is my little Santas.
What's up?
Well, this is...
You cut that?
I cut that. And again, this is the root system.
Just once?
No. And the root system eventually was like this tall. I mean, when I first started grafting, it was probably this tall. So what I like to do is take the root system off in 3 cuts. The first time I cut off maybe a third of it. The second time I cut off another third. And then this is the final cut. And so I'm totally taking the root system off now, because before, when I had it, this thing was just bonding. I didn't have any bud push, so there was a lot of things going on down here to unite the sign or the new plant onto the root system. Okay, so now I'm going to take the rubber band off, which I showed you how to do, you know, put it on, and that was in like January. And I'm going to cut this thing back. So I'm going to put the root system and the sign material together, and then I'll have my final plant, my final new conifer. So first thing I do is there's a couple little shoots that are off the root system. They're off. I take the take the rubber band off. The rubber bands are pretty, they've degraded quite a bit, so it's not usually too hard to get them off. Okay, so there's the union right there. You want to get a close up of that. You can kind of see this was a side veneer graft that I did, and you can sort of see the different tissues. The dark is the sign material or the new plant that I want to grow, and then the lighter stuff is the root system tissue or bark. Okay, so I like to make a nice close cut right where the bonding all occurred. I don't like to leave too much of the root system exposed, so I like to make a nice little cut. These are the pruners I like to use. They're kind of a scissor type because they make the same cut on both sides. If you have a different type of pruner, the kind of the anvil type or some of the other types, they're not equal and they can kind of distort one side or the other. And I want a nice clean cut when I do it. So I grab on, and I usually bring it back a little bit so I can get it nice and steady. And then I'll put my pruners there, and I put the tips right at the very edge of the root system, so I can usually make a nice clean cut, and off it comes. And that's a pretty good cut right there. I like to slant them a little bit. Some propagators call this the church key or something like that. There's a term for that little cut right there, or the exposed root system. So there I go. So there it's done. Hopefully, you know, it'll continue to grow. There's just, you know, you can sort of see where the bud has pushed a little bit. These are the old needles from last year. These are the new needles, and it looks like it's gonna, you know, start to grow pretty well.
You're not gonna rubber band it?
No, I take the rubber band off. So anyway, so let's just we'll do another one real quick. We'll do this. This is Alban. This is a Scotch pine. Same sort of thing. There's the old root system that I've whacked back twice already, and this is my final cut. This one's doing a little bit better growth-wise. You can sort of see this is all new growth right here from this spring, and that's what I want to see. These are actually some baby cones right there. Some people like those. They think it makes the plant look a little bit more ornamental. I tend to like to take them off because I think they restrict the growth of the new plant. But on an Alban, this thing grows so easily, I don't really care that much, so I'll probably just leave them on. So anyway, so same sort of thing. I got the rubber band here that I put on in January. Again, this has been 6 months since I made the graft, and I'm looking, there's the little tab of rubber band that I used to come up and through to hold the rubber band on there. So there we go. You can sort of see the constrictions there where the rubber band did it. Again, a very good strong union. And same sort of thing, I'll take my snips and I'll put that pretty close, and I make a little angle. Well, that's going to take 2 snips. Okay, pretty good. You know, it's a good cut. That'll heal up pretty easily, and you won't even be able to see that cut after a couple of years because the plant will just grow around it and hide it itself. So, okay. That's all from here at Laporte Avenue Nursery in Fort Collins. Signing off. Bye-bye.